All right. Well, I'm going to talk to you about something a little bit different tonight. Uh, and I'm going to it's the same story, just wearing different clothes. But we've all joined health clubs or an exercise facility somewhere in our life, and to take care of our physical well-being. But what about your environmental well-being? And that's something that I saw in Vallara, that it literally was like a wellness membership for my environmental well-being. Now, when I say environmental wellness, a lot of people will now say, well, Dwayne, I'm not sure, what do you mean by that? If you're talking about the membership to the first ever environmental wellness program, well, what we're talking about is wellness is about you. It's the air you breathe. It's either an asset or a liability. You'll hear us talk about the wellness balance sheet. And so on that balance sheet, things are either assets or liabilities. The water you drink, it's either an asset or a liability. Tomorrow night, if you come to our Hydration Thursday, you're going to learn about water and how it's a wellness part of your wellness program. The food you eat, nutrition, it's either on the asset side of the balance sheet or the liability side. So the whole goal of our CEU, our continuing education university is what we call it, is teaching people how to take responsibility for their wellness. And then when they do, that gives them the ability to change these environmental liabilities into environmental assets. So probably right here would be a great time for me to do our disclaimer. And we want to make sure that on all of our calls, whether it's our Nutrition Tuesday, where we talk about restorative and adaptive nutrition and how that benefits you, whether it's tonight when we talk about environmental wellness, or tomorrow night when we talk about water, none of our products or programs are intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or mitigate any type of illness or disease. Our programs and products are not about your health, but it's about your wellness. So what do you mean by that? Well, wellness, your health is something you're born with. And then you literally spend the rest of your life slowly losing it. And that has to do with environmental issues that attack us, the enemy that gets into your count. You'll hear about that continually on these calls. It's about poor nutrition. It's about literally poisonous nutrition. Just came out today that the High Court has now ruled that there's no safe level of fluoridation in your water, none. And yet every major municipal water supply across America is still adding it to water. Why? Well, there's an effect of that. You'll hear about that tomorrow. The nutrition you eat, our food today has literally reached the point in some cases where it's poisonous. People have died from eating products they bought off the shelves in grocery stores. So wellness is about you, and it's about decisions you make about the air you breathe, the water you drink, the nutrition you consume, and then what you can, what you're willing, and what you're financially able to do to bring those up to optimum. And that's what our goal of these 3 continuing education classes are. It's teaching you how to do that, how to do it properly with the right products, the right programs, and to do it as economically as possible. So that's the goal of our program. So now let's get into this. Tonight we're going to talk about air principally. And when we talk about air, the COVID pandemic we just came through, if there was any high point of it, it's the massive amount of data that's going to come out of that's given us the ability that this data is going to be massaged, it's going to be manipulated, it's going to be put into algorithms. You'll be hearing about this data for years to come. But for those of us that are in the air business, it gave us science to support things that we've been saying over the last 20, 30 years. We've reached a point today where it's actually more dangerous to be outdoors. It's safer outdoors than it is indoors. The pandemic that we just went through, it's nothing new, and it's not over. The news has changed, but the pandemic, what caused it, has not changed. People are still going to the hospital. They're still going to the emergency room because of COVID infections. There's still people in ICU every day. Today, someone died because of COVID. It's still here. So what we're going to talk about is taking that data and applying it to how you can apply it to yourself. Now, we're going to start with outdoor transmission. And all of this is back with studies that I've accumulated throughout the 3 years of the pandemic. But MIT put out a paper, and it was a synopsis of papers that have been done throughout the last 20 years when we thought we were going to have a bird flu epidemic or a swine flu epidemic or flu epidemic. But what they discovered in reviewing all of these papers is the same thing that we've been saying for the last 20 years, is that probably 10% or less of all airborne respirated pathogens are caught outdoors. In fact, the CDC wrote a paper on it and says more than likely it's under 10%, and most experts say it's under 1%. And most of those are by personal contact contagion. In other words, by kissing, hugging, drinking or eating after someone, or sexual encounters outdoors. And that's what they related that 1% to. So the question would be, first off, why are outdoor transmissions so rare? That should have been the big question that should have been asked. And how do we duplicate that? Well, the reason outdoor transmissions are so rare is because Mother Nature is continually cleaning outdoor air. Mother Nature is continually doing everything to make outdoor air as healthy as possible. When you hear about ozone alerts and pollution alerts and particulate in outdoor air, it has nothing to do with God's approach. It has to do with what man has put there, and Mother Nature is continually cleaning that up. Now, how does she do that? Well, she does it with an organic energy plasma. As a natural process, the sun is shining down through that environment, that water that's contained in that outdoor environment. It energizes it, and that energy creates all of these friendly oxidizers that takes care of all the things that would affect us and cause us harm outdoors. In fact, the one pollutant that if we could get rid of it, the whole outdoor environment would clean itself up perfectly. Craig, what is that one pollutant?
One pollutant, outdoor air?
If we got rid of this one pollutant, and that pollutant is us, we are the primary pollutant that is causing all the problems, indoor and outdoors. So now we know that we didn't catch it outdoors. So if you caught something, if you catch a cold, if you catch a flu, if you catch COVID or Omicron, it doesn't matter. Any airborne pathogen, if less than 1% are caught outdoors, well, that only leaves one place for the rest of those to be caught, and that's indoors. So tonight, if I get anything across, the primary thing that I want to get across is this thing that we call the chain of contagion. I learned about this over 20 years ago, and once you fully grasp what the chain of contagion is, it makes it very easy to know where do we need the technology. So what is the chain of contagion? Well, if you're over on the medical side of the balance sheet, the chain of contagion is where a pathogen and a person come together. And that's what the medical side says the chain of contagion is. And then there's a medical approach to cure it. Well, from a preventative standpoint, a wellness standpoint, that's not what it is. Those are the variables in the chain of contagion. The chain of contagion is this. Here's the definition for it. The chain of contagion is any enclosed, occupied, artificially conditioned. What do you mean artificially conditioned, Dwayne? I mean just that. That means an air conditioning, HVAC system. So it's an enclosed, occupied, human occupation. It's artificially conditioned, and it's an indoor space. And all of those, if you want to say, well, Dwayne, is my Sunday school class, is it a chain of contagion? Well, is it an enclosed, occupied, artificially conditioned indoor space? Yes, it is. What about my doctor's office? What about my child's classroom? What about where I work? What about my home? Well, ask yourself, what is this? Then it's a chain of contagion. And all chains of contagion, without exception, have three common denominators. And it's the difference in being out here and in here. Because we know out here, Mother Nature has a process. Well, when you close yourself up in this chain of contagion, that process is just that. It's closed out. And here's what happens. This is what causes the problem. As soon as you close off in that indoor environment, 80 to 85% of that organic energy plasma that Mother Nature uses so effectively to protect us outside is eliminated that quickly. Remember, energy is always ballistic. It's always releasing energy. So when you close yourself up, that energy is gone. And once that energy is gone, there's now nothing there to protect you. Here's the other problem. It's that artificial condition, that artificial movement of air indoors. There's no wind indoors. So the only movement that comes is from this artificial conditioning that starts moving air. And here's the problem with that. Studies have now shown that when we move this air artificially, almost 90% of all the internal charges are positive charged. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means everything in there is positively charged. You, the table you're sitting at, the door, the doorknob, anything that's in the room, everything in there is carrying a positive charge. And that's where the third problem becomes the major part of this chain of contagion problem. And that's occupied, the individuals in there. Because when you're in there, here's what happens. Every person in that indoor space, from 4 of you living in your home to 20 of you sitting in a classroom or 100 of you sitting in a restaurant, every one of you is exhaling hundreds of gallons of exhaled air every single hour that you're in there. And every time you exhale up to 10,000 of these microparticles that are primarily protein based. And as soon as you exhale them, they're positively charged. You're also sloughing off millions of dead skin cells the whole time you're in there, and they're positively charged. VOCs that are outgassing, if it's a restaurant, from cooking, from perfumes, from just anything that outgasses within that indoor environment gets suspended in that environment. And this becomes a super highway, the interstate for pathogens, because they're positively charged also. And they get exhaled out into that indoor air and they stay suspended. And that becomes the chain of contagion. And that's when a person walks in and the pathogen and the person comes together. So now, what the EPA says is that the people that are exhaling these respiratory droplets, not only do they stay suspended, they stay in a cloud. They don't disperse like they do outside. Remember, outdoor air is always ballistic. It's never static. Outdoor air is always moving because of energy. Indoor air, there is no energy, doesn't move. There's no wind indoors. But what they've discovered is that cloud of infection, whether it's exhaled pathogens, whether it's VOCs, can move up to 60 feet in an indoor environment simply because of that 10 to 15% of energy that's left in the air. And not only that, those particles can linger in the air for hours after the infected person has left the room. Hours. So you can literally walk into one of these chain of contagion spaces, have no one there, and think you're safe, and walk through there and walk into that cloud of infection and inhale it, and you've got it. It's that simple. And they can account for, based on which study you look at, 60%, whether it's flu, whether it's staph, strep, COVID, Omicron, Delta, cold, any of these respirated pathogens, 60% of the contagions are caught because someone walks into an indoor space, takes a breath, and they inhale it, and that's how they get it. So from this is from the CDC. They say, well, let me just go on past that. We now know that most pathogens, up to 60% of them, are caught because people inhale it indoors. Well, so how do we break the chain of contagion? Well, here's what NIOSH, the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, this is what they said. They've said this for 50 years. This has not changed. They said, step one, if there is a physical hazard in an indoor environment in a workspace. Now, remember, they deal their occupational safety and health, but this extrapolates over to any other indoor space. If it's a Sunday school class, it's a workspace. If it's a restaurant, it's a workspace. If it's a classroom, it's a workspace. It's that simple. It comes under this the heading of occupational safety and health. This is what NIOSH said. It's what they've said for over 50 years. Step one in that chain of contagion, if there's a hazard such as flu, VOCs, outgassings, pathogens, step one before you do anything else is eliminate it. Eliminate it from that environment. Well, Dwayne, how do you do that? Well, that's where we come in. That's the Air and Surface Pro, what Liddy likes to refer to as the silver bullet. And I'm going to stop the share for a minute, and I'm going to ask Craig, if you can hold it up there for us. This is the silver bullet, folks. This is sunshine in a box. What this does, this is called an RCI. It's got a lot of different names depending on who's naming it. Photocatalytic oxidation, photocatalytic ionization. But hold it steady right there for a minute. You'll see inside there, that's a bulb. That is a UV bulb of a specific spectrum. And this honeycomb is coated with a coating of precious metals that they discovered in research for the space program, when they were trying to find ways to have people live in space, in a vacuum of space. How do you create healthy, clean, fresh air in space? Well, that's where this came from. It came out of the space program. And they found when that light shines on that honeycomb, it creates the same friendly oxidizers that Mother Nature creates outdoors. We do it electronically. Now, there's another little that we don't talk about a lot, and Craig's going to show you how effective it is here in just a minute, and that's called a radio wave ionizer. This is tucked deep down inside of that box. It operates continually. It is always in operation. And what this does is, the reason we call that little black box a whole home air purification system has to do with that little radio wave ionizer that you're looking at. Now, what Craig is doing, he's taking the invisible and making it visible. He's filling that up with some physical contaminant. This is why it was so effective and easy to sell these back when all the environments were smoking. Because what he's about to show you is what we could walk into a restaurant, a bar, a person's home, and we could show them. What this thing does, it creates an energy force, and it passes through walls and floors. So let me show you what happens when you engage this. He's about to engage this technology. It's called a radio wave ionizer. Go ahead, Craig. And we can now see Craig. Now, that's a lot smaller version, but what it does that continually in every indoor environment. And so I just want to make sure you know about this, because we very seldom talk about it. This is the heart. This is the nervous system. So, and we have one more technology. Well, actually, there's several different more technologies in there. One is oxidative technology. What you see here, this is what I call lightning in the box. When you engage this in that little box, this creates lightning. It does the same thing that lightning does outdoors. It creates energy that is then transported out into the air. It ionizes that air and it starts cleaning up, breaking down odors, VOCs. It's very effective, especially when you use it when we have a circuit in there that when you leave the house, you can push that circuit and you can create a thunderstorm indoors. You can have the lightning and the thunder and everything going, but nobody gets wet. That's the beauty of it. Can you hold the black box up there for just a minute? And even though we talk about this being filterless technology, there is a technology in the back of it. He'll hold it up here and show you in just a second.
Hang on a sec. Let me get this cord over here.
Yep. And in the back of this is a 3-phase filter to polish the air. What you're looking at, the top core is what's called an electrostatic screen. So as air passes over it, it creates these charges and it grabs these microparticles initially before they can even go any further. Then it goes through a foam, charcoal activated foam filter, and that foam catches and catches the VOCs right there. And then finally, it's a honeycomb, so it polishes that air. So you get the cleanest air possible that goes inside that unit and gets energized and then is pushed out into your environment, and it starts charging all of those. It's like the charge of the light brigade. It starts charging all those pollutants in your air, and it starts removing those enemies from your camp. And it starts creating a bubble. It starts right around the unit, and it just spreads out from that unit. It starts dropping particulate down from the ceiling, stuff that, listen, do you realize before we put this product in someone's home, there is particulate suspended? Gwen, Harold, John, any of you on this call, before you put this product in your home, there was particulate suspended near your ceiling that's probably been there for years. Do you know they say that there's dead skin cells floating in every indoor environment from people that have been there 5, 10, 15 years ago? Now, is that amazing? and we think we have clean environments. Listen, when we talk about air quality, we're not talking, we say poor quality. There you go. Now, if you can, right there, that's the filter we're talking about. And it's very easy to remove, very easy to clean. And when you turn it around, lift it up just a little bit. There's your simple controls. You set it. If you follow our ways, we explain to you exactly how to adjust it for your environment. Once it's adjusted, you never have to touch it again. Can you hold it where we can peek through the top of it, Craig?
This one's dirty, but yep.
Well, because of the glare, you can't quite see it.
Let me turn this light on.
All right. Well, anyway, there's a blue glow inside of there, and that's the PCO cell doing its job. It's creating all these friendly hydroxyls, and they're pushing them out into the air. Right now, what Craig's doing, he is cleaning his air just as if he had a thunderstorm going inside his house. Appreciate it, Craig.
You got it.
So we've talked about this cell. And what this cell does, it creates this purifying plasma. It creates superoxide ions, hyperperoxides, dry hydrogen peroxide, and it all has to do with this proprietary, it's not patent pending anymore, it's now patented, and it's just a coating of these rare and noble metals that create this outdoor air indoors. And people say, well, Dwayne, how does it work? Well, I like to answer people, it works very well. And that's the simplest answer. People say, well, how do I use it? I say, well, take these two hands, plug it in with this hand and turn it on with this hand. And that's pretty much what it takes. But we have the testing now. You know, one of the beauties that came out of the pandemic is the statements we can make now because of the testing that this company has done for us. We can now claim 99.9% of air and surface hazards, most of them are deactivated within minutes of exposure. DNA, RNA viruses, and that's a whole spectrum of pathogens: SARS, swine flu, avian flu, hepatitis, simple colds, cold viruses, staph, strep. And then when you combine this multi-point positive and negative ionization, folks, this is a whole new technology in itself. When this multi-point positive and negative shoots out of the top of this machine, they're shooting out at the speed of light. And when they crash together out there in the environment, every time they crash together, they release a little bit of gamma energy. What is gamma energy, Dwayne? It's the strongest energy in the universe, I'm told. Microscopic amount, but it's just deadly to pathogens. It just it breaks down VOCs. It's an unbelievable technology in the way it works. That's why I say it works very well. So by placing this product in your home, your office, your classroom, your Sunday school class, your anywhere you go, anywhere that you walk in, you can bring protection, what I call an air of defense to that indoor environment. I'm going to finish up with this. You know, people say, well, do I have a problem? Well, this was an ad that was run a number of years ago by a large chemical company here in our area. It's called Eastman Chemical. And I think it states the problem as clear as I could state it. It says, your home, it's all built on chemistry. That's not me saying it. This is that company. It says, think about the rooms in your house, the kitchen, the family room, the bathroom. Think about all the things that come from chemistry in those rooms: paint, cleaners, food and beverage packaging, and even the food and beverage that's in it, your apparel, what you wash it in, what you brush your teeth in, what you shampoo with. You're either pouring chemicals down you, on you, or down your drain every single day. Your cosmetics, your pharmaceuticals, they're all chemicals. And when you multiply all that by more than 100 million homes in the United States, you realize what a major problem this is. Folks, you're under attack. The enemy is in the camp. Our goal is to get the enemy out of your camp. And it's not just air. Tomorrow night, you're going to hear about water. You're going to hear how the water you think you're drinking that you thought was so healthy for you, not only is it not usable water because of the structure, it's not healthy water. And yet we have a whole nation of people think that they're doing something good for themselves, and it turns out they're not. Come tomorrow night, you'll learn about that. So this is good. This is the Air and Surface Pro. This is the first step of our environmental wellness program. But we have a much better program, and that's where you take care of your air, your water. But what about your clothes? Do you realize that there can be a hazard there? And I'm going to stop the share and turn it over to you to let you share a little bit about the Laundry Pure.
Got it. So everybody, as you know, this is one of my favorites. I had the honor of having the first prototype, and this unit looks like this. I've got the cover here, not the whole unit. The rest of it's hooked to the wall above my washer, but this unit very simply hangs above your washer with a couple screws. You just level it out. It's like hanging a picture. Once you do that, it's called the Laundry Pure 2.0. And you'll notice there's an in and an out right there for cold water. So you turn off your cold water, you detach the one from the part coming out where the valve is. You put it onto the side that says out, because that's the one going out to the machine. A second hose comes with it. Very easy to screw it onto the part you took off the valve, and then you bring it up to the end, tighten the things up, plug it in, and fire it up. And guess what? You won't believe it, but for the last 18 years, my clothes, towels, and bedding haven't touched one drop of chemicals, detergent of any kind, or hot water. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, Dwayne's showing it. Can you imagine how many of those are going in landfills every day? Millions and millions of containers for all the chemicals we use in the laundry room. Now, let me repeat. I have not put anything but cold water through this machine into my washer. It activates it with the same type of technology to the air unit, and it fires that. It looks like billions of bubbles, like of tonic water going into the machine. And yes, those are the same towels, folks. Those towels, shorter stack, were washed multiple times with detergent and hot water and dried. Leftover detergent is what gets you. Understand this, even the best washers only get between 95 to 97% of the detergent rinsed and washed out of the material. That's your towels. Your clothes you wear all day long and your bedding you sleep in at night are going to have a 3 to 5% leftover detergent. That's why the next stack is so much taller. We washed it with the unit with cold water and no detergent. It blew all that detergent out of that short stack. Same towels, about 2 or 3 inches taller. All of a sudden, there's no detergent. Do you want to know what causes lint in your dryer? It's leftover detergent, that 3 to 5%. It crystallizes when you start the heat up in the dryer, right in the beginning. That's when your material is very heavy, it's all wet. And it's really rubbing hard against the other material while it crystallizes that microscopic detergent. Now it becomes like sandpaper. So the short stack, you're drying off with chemicals. Folks, there's not a minute of the day. If you get up and take a shower bath, you take the most chemically absorbent piece of material in your house, which is your bath towel, rub it all over your wet body to dry off, and now it's transferring all the chemicals that are left over in that towel all over your body. Make sure you get between your toes and all the nooks and crannies because you don't want to miss anything. Want to make sure you paint the whole body with chemicals. Just kidding. No, you don't. And we're showing you how not to do that. Then you put on clothes. Whatever's touching your skin, Dwayne and Glenn and Ingrid, is now on your skin. Your pores absorb chemicals right through the skin, but also when you sweat, guys get really badly chemically burned a lot. You'll in their back, behind their arms, the back of your legs, because we sweat. Women perspire, ladies, you perspire, we men sweat. And when we sweat, we're pulling these chemicals off the clothes we wear, right? Imagine an athlete. You want to make sure somebody that's very heavily perspiring, men or women that are exercising, are not drawing all those chemicals they use to wash their uniforms in with detergent. Forget it. And then imagine you've got your bedding. You're in it all night long, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, however long you sleep. And you're just rolling around in chemicals against your face, pillowcase, top sheet, bottom sheet, blankets. Stop the chemical addiction in the laundry room, folks. There is no need for it. Our unit, it's chemically tested to prove that it controls bacteria as good as using bleach or chemicals, but with no chemicals whatsoever. So live the chemical-free laundry experience. And don't get me started, Dwayne, on what happens when you put one of these diverters on the output. One of those will go to your washer. So notice there's a valve to turn that one off. When you do that, it forces the water through another hose. You can put that, Dwayne, in your steam cleaner for carpet cleaning. You can capture it in a bucket, go around and use a wet towel with that water. And it's good for about 15 or 20 minutes, that the bubbles that are in the water are. And it will do a great job of polishing and cleaning things, wiping things off. It's sterilizing while it's cleaning. Pretty amazing technology. And all we did was take the same, I don't have the exact cell, but it looks almost identical to this one, only it's sealed. And that is the same technology being used by the air unit. We're just forcing it into water. I'll tell you, best thing I ever did. 18 years ago, I got rid of all my chemical burn on my back, on the back of my arms. My feet were cracked and broken and all dried up because when I would sweat, it was exposing my skin all day long and all night long in bed. And when I dried off, I'm just covering myself with chemicals, and my skin hates chemicals. So let's lead the world in getting rid of those piles of plastic containers floating around in the ocean. Let's get rid of the chemicals that, remember, 95 to 97%, Dwayne, washes out. Where does it go? In our water table. Then don't get me started on quaternary ammonium. The chemicals that are in these things are just totally devastating to your body. They soak right into your pores, and now you've got it inside your body. Just cut those chemicals out. Let's be the first generation to teach our children how to clean naturally, without chemicals, without hot water. The most environmentally friendly thing you can do in your home right now is get a laundry pier and hook it up and stop using the chemicals and heating water to clean with. And by the way, the lint is reduced dramatically because leftover detergent, when it crystallizes, causes lint. When you get rid of that lint, drop it by 95, 98%. Now the airflow is there, so your dryer works much more efficiently. Sometimes it dries 30, 40% faster than it did before when it was full of lint. You had to keep pulling the lint out every little few minutes. They don't want to go do that. I don't have to touch it. I get no lint in the lint screen because there's no lint causing detergent left over. So if you really want to go green, you've gone green everywhere else, the best way to go green is to get rid of using chemicals, hot water, and make your dryer work more efficiently, and stop wearing chemicals for you, your kids, your grandkids, and their future generations after us. Let's get rid of that. And it's a simple way to do it. We've had the answer for 18 years. You might as well jump on board and become a laundry pure aficionado, Dwayne.
And Craig, I'd like to throw in what generation, and this has been a progressive improvement that has been going on in this product for
at least number 7. And I'm here to say, having had the very first one, I had the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, every one of them. This unit, even from the last one we had, the most recent, is easily, Dwayne, 4 times more powerful than that one. It's just unbelievable what that cell is doing in there and creating these friendly oxidizers and dumping them in by the billions into the water. And it's gases, right? It's the same thing the air unit's doing, only when you force it into water, it's not invisible anymore. You'll be frankly shocked. I did a little test, Dwayne, when I first got mine. After I washed the towels and the clothes and I noticed, oh my God, my skin was healing, no more itching. Then I put it in the steam cleaner, and I had just steam cleaned the carpet about a week before that. So it was pretty clean. And then I ran it just with the water, no chemicals. And I ran it in the steam cleaner. Dwayne, it pulled dirt and grime and odors out that even my chemical cleaning could not do. And I'm like, oh, great. And I had a little, pretty young little one. So he's crawling around on the carpet. I don't want him crawling around on chemicals we wash the carpet with, where you buy that stuff. No more buying that stuff. That's a lot of money in your steam cleaner. Let's just, let's use the technology that we're using to clean our clothes. Just use that water, put it in there, and watch what happens. It'll blow your mind, Dwayne.
And I challenge people to do some homework about dryer sheets and the hazards of those. You have those because you have to remove the static that's created from the residual detergent in your clothes. So your static almost disappears completely when you use the laundry pure. These are very hazardous.
Dwayne, I found out it's the crystals rubbing together causing an electronic charge that needs to be discharged. And that's where I was shocked. I used to really get zapped, reach into the dryer, pow, it's like you could hear it snap, I have never had that happen in 18 years now. There is nothing. And you used to be able to take something and pull it out and it'd be floating or it'd stick to something else. None of that has happened for 18 years. It's unbelievably interesting to watch what happens when you get rid of that static discharge. You get rid of the leftover detergent. You have no lint. Everything smells, Dwayne, when it's wet. When you first do the towels or whatever you do, we always like to do towels first. You pull it out wet before it goes in the dryer. Just give it a smell. It smells like you've hung it out in that sunshine fresh, drying, like hanging out on the line. It already smells like that before you even put it in the dryer. There's no need to put dryer sheets. When it comes out of the dryer, it smells fresh and clean, just like it did going in when it was wet. It's amazing.
And most Americans just do not realize that they have been subconsciously programmed to think clean laundry has a fragrance, because we've watched TV commercials for 50 years telling us now with that spring fresh fragrance. That spring fresh fragrance is a chemical. Can you share a little bit about what brighteners are, Craig?
Brighteners.
brighteners, when they tell you makes your clothes brighter.
Yeah, so here's the problem, folks, and I don't know if you know this, but um, any of those are designed to basically, they're just another chemical you're wearing. Besides the chemical used to clean with, that's a different chemical. And remember, those chemicals are rubbing the outside of the clothes. Well, you'll notice with the Laundry Pure, because it's making gases, bubbles, they pass right through the material. They actually pull the stains, pull the odors, clean by passing through it. Even Lululemon, somebody wearing, doing yoga, and now even after washing, their Lululemon smells great. Their leotard, when they smell it come out of the washer, but when they put it on their body, it warms up again and it has that yoga stench. This is the only thing I've heard the ladies talk about that gets rid of what they call the yoga stench. That everything smells great until you put it on your body and start exercising, and it warms up and there's just an odor coming out. So yeah, Dwayne, that's the key. Is we're talking zero chemicals, and we're all trying to get rid of all the additives and chemicals in what we eat and what we drink. But we have to remember, one of the most deadly things we do to the environment, to ourselves, is pour chemicals. That is only one that get mad at this stuff is Procter and Gamble and the other people that manufacture these chemicals, because I haven't bought their product for 18 years. I don't go down the aisle. You don't have to worry about it. No dryer sheets, no laundry detergent, none of that. No softeners, no bleaches, whatever. Dwayne, I'm not interested because I don't need it. And the clothes last a lot longer, Dwayne, because they don't get worn down by that rubbing and the sandpaper effect. They don't get torn up. So you'll find that your clothes last a lot longer. And by the way, anybody here that thinks their clothes fade, your clothes are not fading. That would take sunshine to do that. Sunlight, direct sunlight. They're not fading, they're coated. So when you use the machine, even something that looks so dingy you don't wear it outside anymore because it was a dark color, black, green, blue, all of a sudden you run it in the washer, it blows the detergent off the outside of the material, Dwayne, and it looks like the day you bought it. I made these shirts for my shows. They're dark black at least 8 years ago. And I'll tell you what, they're the same shirts. I've been wearing them for same shirt. They don't fall apart. The color's amazing. It looks like I just bought it. They're not all worn down. Why? Because I'm not using chemicals on them. Matter of fact, Dwayne, I don't think there's a reason to not believe that the chemical companies that are in cahoots with the clothing manufacturers, the chemicals are destroying and breaking down the material faster, so they have to go buy, more clothes because they're ruining them. Who wants to do that? I don't want to do that. If I enjoy something I wear, I want to wear it, but I also don't want to wear it out. Wear the material out. So this solves that problem. So if you have some favorite things you're not wearing anymore because they look a little coated or faded, just put them in, all of them in together, wash them and bring them out. And you'll go, before you put them in the dryer, you'll go, oh my God, there's the color right back again. So we're very excited about this. It's one of the ones that not too many people focus on, Dwayne, but we need to tonight because it is a game changer. It's a worldwide game changer. Make sure everybody you know knows about this technology. And if you haven't used one yet, I'm telling you right now, you will not be dissatisfied. Plus, you can teach ladies, you can teach the guys how to do laundry. There's no more chemistry experiment and mixing stuff in. Just throw the stuff in, hit the cold, and hit the button and turn it on. And man, it just cleans without having to do mixing this and the right amount.
Separate all the clothes that we used to do. You don't have to do all that.
No, I don't separate at all. I'm live here by myself at my house, and I just use the washing machine as the hamper, folks. So that's the easy way to do it, right? Just keep throwing stuff in until it's the right level, hit the button. And I can put jeans in with silk, you can put them with anything in with anything because you're not using chemicals or hot water. So if you haven't tried it and you're regular on this call, please try out the Laundry Pure 2.0 and give us feedback. This is the right time and call to do it, but you will be frankly shocked at why for the last 100+ years have Americans and all over the world been convinced they have to use chemicals to clean their clothes. It is not necessary, nor is it any good for our future generations to have to deal with that junk getting in the water. Wayne, thanks for letting me show off another one of my favorite products. Of course, it's water related as usual.
Okay. Well, I'm going to see if I can direct you someplace else. We've talked about health for air. We've talked about health for water, and yet even the electricity coming into our home has a potential to be healthier. Can you talk about that?
Yes. There's our steady power, folks. It's another one. It's under more. Right? And when you look on the front page, if you're invited here by somebody and they sent you their website, just look at it, but you'll see it's called Steady Power. Another one I've had since the beginning. 18 years I've had these at my homes. Anywhere I lived, whether I was renting or owning, I attached it. Has 4 wires, ground 110, ground and neutral. Very easy for a professional electrician or contractor to hook up. It goes on your power panel through its own 25 amp breaker. When you turn it on, these 2 lights will light up when it's under power. And now what's happened is these are very heavy, Dwayne. There's a big giant motor start and motor run capacitor inside here. This thing weighs probably at least 7 pounds. I mean, it's got some good weight. And why? Because when you plug it into power and turn on the breaker and this lights up, it charges these capacitors inside, and that becomes stored battery power. Why? Well, if you don't know, Dwayne, most people don't understand, your electric bill is based on the highest spike of the draw, the highest draw amount. Your whole bill is based on that. So when I put this in, I thought it was a joke, but it does, listen, lightning, surge, harmonic noise, and EMF protection for your entire house. It is a whole home surge protector, whole home. Anything plugged into your electrical system that's fed by that panel will be protected. Here's how sure we are that it works and how good it works. Dwayne has a 10-year warranty on it. And if it does get a lightning strike, hits your power line outside and goes in, it will not let it get to your equipment. It'll blow out the unit. It shunts everything to ground. Why is that important? Well, it even has a $25,000 insurance policy attached to this if you have it professionally installed, which means if something did get past this box, they'll buy it. TV set, high-tech equipment. Now remember, folks, if you're getting new high-tech dishwashers and refrigerators and all these equipment, they have circuit boards. If you read your warranties on them, your warranty paperwork, it says must be plugged into or have a surge protector or your warranty is void. It's not covered. Wait, you buy a brand new fridge and it's not covered if there's a surge. Put a whole home surge protector on, our Steady Power, which also protects from lightning, surge, harmonic noise, and EMF. And the good news, Dwayne, is mine has paid for itself. I'm on my 2nd or 3rd one because I'm going on past a decade. And we're going on almost the 2nd decade I'll go past, right? And how does it do that? This reads motor starting up, and it's a smart box where it sends power out to help start the motor, which is where that spike happens from. So that spike is not happening from your power panel. It's happening from the Steady Power. So another one I highly recommend. This pays for itself. How long does it take to pay for itself? Depends on how many motors you have running, Dwayne, how many inductive loads, what size they are. But I will guarantee you, we can definitely guarantee that if you install this on a normal size family home and it needs 1 per 200 amp panel, it will pay for itself sometime in that 10 years. It could be the first year if you get huge bills, 2 years, 3 years. We don't know. We don't have to say percentages. We just know what it does and how it does it. So there's the key. Buy it for the protection, lightning, surge, harmonic noise, and EMF protection, full home, and then let it pay for itself. Even if it takes 5 years out of the 10 years, now you got 5 years where it's paid for itself and you're way ahead of the game. So I've seen massive reductions when people have a lot of inductive loads, but each property is different. But get one hooked up, and then after a couple months, you get your first full bill with it running. And Dwayne, watch what happens. It's amazing.
Well, I'm going to kind of go backwards again. We talked about the Air and Surface Pro. We've now educated people. Every environment is a chain of contagion. And with estimate that even with all the exposure, probably less than 1% of the indoor environments people are going to be going into continually every day have protection and air of defense. What can they do to protect themselves if they're going to walk into a building that doesn't have protection? How do you get personal protection?
Oh yeah, baby. That's my It says right on there, personal electronic breathing protection. Thanks for playing. What that does is it does what the air unit does, the big one, where it's sending out ions in a force field, a shield, very safe for humans, plants, and animals. But it's literally, this is invisibly going like that constantly. And Dwayne, I put this on in the morning when I get up, even in my house with the big unit running, and it stays around my neck till I go to bed. And even if I'm staying somewhere where people have pets, I'll leave it around my neck. It has a breakaway cord, so I won't choke myself. If it gets hooked up on something, it'll pop like that. Just pops open, so I can't choke myself. That's why it's okay to put on kids. Now, what we're doing, Dwayne, is we're blocking it. We're not killing anything. We're not eliminating. We're not whatever. Yes, we are eliminating it from the airspace, but we're pushing it away from your eyes, your nose, and your mouth. I'm going to tell my personal story, Dwayne. I've been wearing this for 19 years, one of these, and I do not get sick. My family calls me the vampire. I'm going on my 20th year of wearing this. After May, it'll be 20 years, 20th year. And no head colds, no sniffles, no flus, no anything for me personally. When I do shows, I do it by myself, Dwayne. I don't have anybody to help. I can't afford to get sick. And so can anybody afford to get sick nowadays? That's our wonderful personal protection device. You charge it up. When the red light's on, it's charging. When it goes green and turns off the red light, you're ready to go. Believe it or not, it'll run about 12 hours a day, Dwayne, for 2 weeks straight. If you were to turn it on and leave it on, it'll go over 7 days straight running on one charge. The old ones, Dwayne, before they improved it, our one we had before this went 12 hours on one charge. Now it goes 12 times, 13 times more. Now we go, how do you do it? They go, you don't need to know how. We just did it. They always say it'll last a little longer. You know me, Dwayne. I charge it up. I turn it on and I check it every day, and it went the first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day, the fifth day, the sixth. It got to after 7 days before it turned off, and I went, oh, I guess they did make it last a little longer, Dwayne. So what I love about this company is they always improve the products, and we've got another cool one, Dwayne. I'm sure.
Well, you that's exactly. What about portability?
Oh, baby, look at the mobile unit, guys. Our Fresh Air Mobile. I got a little sign I made for mine. You can make one yourself. Yep. RF Mobile Active Pure Technology. And what it's doing is the front has the holes where the air shoots out. This is where the air goes in. It runs up, believe it or not. I can plug it in, Dwayne, my car with a 12-volt plug. I have it in my car right now running. I've had them in my car the whole time. I have a 110 cord to run it on normal power plug, wall plug. And we even have adapters, Dwayne. 3 different adapters for different parts of the world where you can plug this in, and it'll even run in Africa on safari inside your tent or your, wherever you're staying, or you can go to Europe and plug it in, go to South America. This is it's one of my favorite air units because it's so portable, Dwayne. 50 square feet is what it says in the documentation. Dwayne, I'm not going to argue with the company, so we'll say 50 square feet, but I will tell you, I have had positive effects in a larger environment. I'm just going to say that, but our company has 50 square feet on it. That's a good size bathroom. That's definitely in a van, even a small minivan or a car, minivan, RV. Now, if you decide you got a longer one, you put one up front on the dash. It's got a cool little Velcro piece. I don't know if you can see that. I'll turn on the light. It comes with a 1 by 1 inch Velcro piece. Notice I've attached it there, and on the top of my dash, I have the fuzzy part. This is called the hook part, and the loop is on there. Stick that on there, boom, sticks right on. Now, if you have a longer vehicle, Dwayne, just put one in the back and point them towards each other. This is not like the big air unit where it goes out 360 degrees to do its work, Dwayne. This is like a shotgun. You put it on, like if I'm in a hotel room, I'll put it across from me on the table and have it shoot at me. Because it shoots out like a shotgun. It's not going out in a full 360 circle. Very important, guys, that you know that, so that when you're using it, you put it on the other side of you and point it at you. And it's got all the controls, right? It's got 6 different settings, 3 fan speeds with the Active Pure technology, but also this one has the ozone or O3 capable if I want it, but I don't have to use that. Do not have to use it. It's selectable, low, medium, and high. Honestly, for the money too, Dwayne, This does not replace a big air unit, but it is definitely great for the smaller spaces, a small office space, small cubicle. Like I said, vehicle's unbelievable. Does all the same things the big one does in a much smaller package. Very lightweight. I take these wherever I travel, usually two. One's for the rental car, one's for the place we're staying in. And then, everyone that I'm traveling with always has one of these around their neck. And now the airlines and everybody are used to seeing them, Dwayne. They know what they are now. But it took us about 20 years to educate them.
You can even get to see John Goodman. I have a battery that's Velcro to mine. So I walk into a restaurant, I'll pull it out and I can operate it on the table. Tell us about the Pet Refresh.
That looks like a paw, and it comes with stickers for the kids to fix it up, to put stickers on the front. But this one plugs in very simply, has an on and off switch. You just turn it on, and it's Active Pure. That's what's in it. It's designed to be you could use it near a pet bed or a litter box, but also in the bathroom in a small space. It's constantly going to run the fan and send Active Pure out, just launching it out all the time the switch is on. I leave it on all the time in the bathroom. And it's just constantly sterilizing and active curing the entire space, ceilings, walls, underneath things, behind toilets and stuff where you really can't reach that easily. It's constantly doing that air scrubbing like the big one does, but in a nice, small, lightweight package that you can go and just plug in anywhere that you want. If your bed is right next to near the wall and you plug it in, it will give you a good effect right there on that side of the bed. It's not designed to do the whole room, but it will do quite a good size space, and it will help out. Now, remember, this is Active Pure in this one. So that's the key. So it's going to do what the Active Pure cell does, only it's going to do it in a smaller package. I love it. I love all the small stuff, Dwayne, because it's very reasonably priced for us, all of us, and it all works. And then, of course, we'd have our big one to take care of the whole house.
And then if that little small unit, you can also take it portable also with you. So you could take the portable unit with the Pet Refresh, and I like to take the Pet Refresh, plug it in the bathroom area of a motel room, and then take the portable one and set it up on the little desk area pointed towards the beds, and you get total coverage.
And Dwayne, I learned a long time ago, do not touch the TV remote. When I go into a hotel room, I plug in the mobile and I get it right there in that area where I'm going to be, bed area, TV area, turn it on. Then I go get the rest of my stuff. That usually takes, 10 minutes or so to go down to the car, load up the stuff on the cart, bring it up. When I get back, it's already started taking care of business.
Yeah, I like to go eat for about an hour. Let it work on it for about an hour before.
Let it just pound. It's just in there. When you go in, man, if you go in early, you can still hear them screaming, Dwayne. All those little funky things hiding in the corner, they're not going to survive the unit. And that's the key, guys. It's called set it and forget it, Dwayne. That's what we have to, remember that old commercial, set it and forget it. That's all we're doing. Set it, hit the button, make sure it's operating to where you want it, get out and let it do its thing, because it will go to believe it or not, folks, our technology is so powerful, it goes down the drain. You had an odor in a place that was down the drain. It's airborne, so it's going to hit there, and under pressure, it's going to drive it all the way down that pipe until it gets to the spot that's making the stinky smell or the weird smell, and it just annihilates it. Why? Because it seeks out the bacteria that's causing the odor, no matter where it is. Very good technology. All of our items are portable, Dwayne. Every single one of our items are made to move. What does that mean? Not only can I take them with me on a trip, but if I live in an apartment, we finally got it all going and got my new house, I just unhook everything and take it with me to the new house, Dwayne, because it's all portable for that reason, so that we can start off in a small space and keep moving to larger spaces. And we just put in the equipment, bring it over and plug it in. If your house is bigger than it needs for one machine, you just get a second one, and now you've got a 4,000 square foot space covered, Dwayne. So I like it that we mix and match the units, and we don't have to worry about, whether I'm in a 500 square foot place or a 2,000 plus square foot space, I can cover what I need. So.
Excellent. Well, last night we covered very effectively adaptive and restorative nutrition. I like to think of this as you go through one of our classes a week, you get your freshman. You go through 2 of them a week, you become a sophomore. You go through 3 of them, you become a junior. You go through all 3 the next week, you become a senior. Your 3rd week, you graduate. And when you've gone through these 3 classes 4 weeks in a row, you get your master's, because it takes that long to really learn it. I'm gonna ask you to close this out here. If you could do about a 2-minute commercial, because tomorrow night is, to me, one of the most important calls of the week. Can you do about a 2-minute commercial about why all these people should join us tomorrow?
Absolutely, Dwayne. Thank you. Guys, you know I love my air units. I love my laundry. I love the PowerWorks. I love the Steady Power. I love all of our technology, all of it. But that's the one that I love the most. And why? Because it's something I can share. When I own an air unit, I have one. When I own the laundry unit, I have one. But when you own this, you have the bottling plant. So living water. Try the water, feel the difference, spread the word very quickly. Learn how to turn your faucet water anywhere in the world into the most beautiful, hydrogen-rich, micro-clustered super water. Come tomorrow night and find out what AIMM, A-I-M-M means. We're going to talk about it. Come tomorrow night. Find out how water really works in the body. What is H2O? What does that even mean? Tomorrow night, we're going to discuss it. Invite your friends, invite your family. We're changing lives every day, Dwayne, because the air definitely changes lives. We know that. But the beauty of this is we're going to learn about the pH scale tomorrow night. Bring a newbie, but Dwayne, even on the water call, I still learn things. I'm the person doing the training. Every time there's good questions, bring people. We want your questions. We want your feedback. We want your testimonials. Remember, they're all going to be personal experience feedback. We're not making medical claims, nor will we ever do that. But I mean, find out why snowflakes are shaped exactly the same and what that shape is and why. I mean, when people think they know, oh, I used to think, Dwayne, took 4 months for my friend to get me to try this water. And I drank 2 gallons a day of filtered bottled water. I thought I knew all about water until I drank it. I went, oh my God. Find out what microclustering means, folks. So AIMM, alkalize, ionize, microcluster, molecular hydrogen. And then what I want you to do is come tomorrow night, because I'm going to blow your mind. Come tomorrow night, and Craig's going to take a cold cup of cold water, half a cup, and I'm going to make fully steeped tea right in front of everybody's eyes in about 60 seconds. And you're going to go, wait, what? Not hot water, not boiled water, cold water, guys and gals. Come tomorrow night, find out who Dr. Otto Heinrich Warburg was and why he changed the world with his findings. And then, really importantly, find out who this man is, who I've met, Dr. Hiromi Shinya. He invented technology that has changed the world, saved millions of lives. He's responsible for the saving of millions of lives. And none of it has to do with pharmaceutical, taking pills of any kind. It all is technology to improve your health, Dwayne. When you come tomorrow night, I'm gonna introduce you to some of my family, Dwayne. You're gonna meet all my dead relatives that died from cancer. And we're gonna talk about cancer. Not about fixing cancer, Dwayne, about avoiding it. Let's talk about protecting your body. When you drink our water and find out more about it, you're going to find out what it does to be, like you said, Dwayne, preventative in nature. It's not about catching something and try to fix it. It's about avoiding ever getting a problem with your body. I'm very excited. And of course, come tomorrow night, meet my granddogger, Sylvie. She's like my favorite new little fun. That's my son's dog, my granddogger. And so I'm so excited. Many people on this call are very passionate about the water. Many of you have gotten it because of this call. Please share that knowledge with your friends. Have them come on. We're not selling anything. You know that, guys. I'm not in the sales business anymore. I'm in the education business, and we're educating people. And find out tomorrow night how your family can save thousands of dollars a year on what you're already spending. This is not about new money in this economy, Dwayne. We have to save money in this economy, not spend money. We're not asking people to spend money. We're asking them to divert it into technology that protects their entire home, all their family, 24 hours a day. And to make, finally, I'm going to say this, Dwayne, stop buying. The new one I found was Flow. We'll talk about this tomorrow night. I'm charging my car, and a guy was there from Canada, and this is from Canada. I'm going to tell you, no matter what you do, you could bottle the Lourdes Grotto water, and if you leave it in a bottle for 3 days, it's useless to your body. And tomorrow night, we're going to find out. Whoever you think knows the bunch, they're going to learn how their body works and how water works and what your stomach is supposed to do with water. So I'm really excited, Dwayne, about everybody coming tomorrow night. Let's load up the call. Let's have some fun. Let's educate some people. Let's change some lives. Thank you, Dwayne, for the opportunity to get people fired up about coming tomorrow night for the Living Water Call.
Greg, I sure appreciate it. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I hope everybody learned something tonight. We thank everyone who joined us. Tomorrow night, call someone, invite them to join you. Just tell them, listen, I just want you to listen to something and get your opinion, because their opinion will be positive by the time we're through. I want to thank everybody for joining us.